Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Today is the info session for DIS Copenhagen for study abroad. Let me see. Okay, yes. So, hi, my name is Maria Gleason, and I am a senior studying International Studies and Scandinavian Studies here at UW-Madison. I'm also an international engagement intern with the UW Study Abroad office. I studied abroad at DIS Copenhagen in the summer of 2021 and the University of Copenhagen in the fall of 2022. And now I'm here at the IAP office. Today, I'm going to discuss the details of this program and what your experience may look like if you decide to apply to either of these programs, mainly focusing on DIS. This program is a part of our Central Study Abroad Office, International Academic Programs, or IAP. We're located on the third floor of the Red Gym. This program is a provider program, which means it is offered through study abroad organizations UW-Madison is partnered with, which is the Danish Institute for Study Abroad. And we'll go over the differences in program structure later on in this presentation. So with this program, you can choose to either live in an apartment, a residence hall, or with a local host. Each of these experiences will look fairly different, but we'll go over, again, these options later in the presentation. You can go to DIS anytime during the year, including for the full academic year. I went in the summer, but you're able to study here any semester you would like. Studying at DIS in Copenhagen was such an impactful experience for me that I decided to return for the whole semester at the University of Copenhagen in the fall of 2022. There are several benefits for studying in Copenhagen, and I felt compelled to return to the city to continue my academic career. And we'll go into these things now. So why DIS? This program has several incredible aspects that make it a very well-rounded study abroad experience for almost every major. There are many courses to choose from that can transfer back as credits you need from UW to advance in your major. So Copenhagen is a very lively, bright, and global hub that is a very neat place to live in. There are so many amazing historical landmarks to check out. The Danish charm is unmatched, and the people are very friendly. You'll be studying under Danish professors, among other students from all over America at DIS. This will give you a chance to meet new people and experience college courses in a different country with professors from Denmark. At DIS, students will participate in 2 study tours with their core courses, one local to Scandinavia and a bigger one in Europe. These study tours provide a unique opportunity for hands-on learning. When I studied abroad at DIS, my core course was focused on the history of genocide in Europe, and my study tour was supposed to be to Poland to visit imperative sites to the topic. Though because of COVID-19 restrictions, we did a more local study tour, and we toured bunker sites and museums on the coast of Jutland, Denmark. While Danish is spoken in Denmark, all instruction at DIS is done in English. Options to take Danish language are available, and they highly encourage you to, but it is not required. Copenhagen is a super international city where English is the most common language among people from different backgrounds, and all locals nearly have a high proficiency in English. Finally, we'll discuss in more detail later, but DIS has fieldwork, research, and internship opportunities that are an incredible way to gain more experience while you're abroad. So for academics at DIS, it will depend on what semester you choose to go in. If you go for a fall or spring semester, you will have 3 to 4 classes per semester. And if you go in the summer, you'll have 1 class per semester block. There are 3 semester blocks, 1 for 3 weeks in May, 1 for 3 weeks in June, and 1 for 4 weeks in July/August. And each session has one course attached to it over the summer. And that would just look like 3 to 4 courses throughout the semester. These classes are seminar style, so you'll be with about 15 to 20 other students and 1 professor. The class buildings are located in central Copenhagen, though they're dispersed across the city, but none are more than like a 5-minute bike ride away from each other. Your actual assignments at DIS, they are usually fairly small and normally include attending lectures and doing in-class activities, but in terms of homework, there's usually only 1 big exam/essay at the end of the semester and not too many smaller assignments. At DIS, when you go for the semester, you have either a core course or elective courses. These core courses you can only choose one of, and then elective courses you can have 2 to 3 of to fill your whole semester at DIS. Your core course is where you take that study tour that I mentioned earlier. So for this example, we have climate, glaciers, and human impact as a core course, and their long study tour is to Iceland. The one underneath it, their cognitive neuroscience of consciousness, their long study tour is to Florence. And then the elective courses don't come with a study tour, but they're really great ways to expand your horizons while you're abroad. At DIS, there are 3 different accommodation availabilities. One is you could live in an apartment, which is very similar to apartment living at UW-Madison. Or you could live with a local host where you kind of become integrated into a Danish family, or you can live in a residence hall. When I went to DIS over the summer, I chose to live in a residence hall, and I had a really great time meeting a lot of my close friends. One of my good friends, though, lived with a local host, and she's still in great communications with her host family currently. So as I mentioned earlier, there are different opportunities for fieldwork, research, and internship opportunities at DIS. These are an optional addition to your study abroad experience. So these are not required by any means, but are a great experience if you think it will help exemplify your study abroad experience. The DIS program includes the option to gain hands-on experience through labs or research. Additionally, if you find your own full-time internship in Denmark, you can work with the intern abroad advisors to get credit and support for your internship, though the internship site itself will also need to support you for a residence permit and a work visa. If the internship is related to environmental sustainability or your studies at DIS are related to environmental sustainability, you may be eligible to apply for the Scanddesign Scholarship. I went abroad with the Scanddesign Scholarship, and it was a really great funding tool that also came with a great community of Danish and American students. So definitely something to keep in mind if it is relevant to what you are doing. Work experience abroad looks great on resumes and will help you stand out in interviews as it comes with such great experience. Now we'll just kind of go through like a typical day in the life of a DIS student. So when you first head to class, you pretty much have class every Monday through Friday. Depending on the location of your apartment, your local host, or your residence hall, it will either be a short walk, bike, or metro ride. Biking is a huge part of Danish culture, and it's a super bikeable city and a great experience. Additionally, there's great public transport, so you can take the metro or the bus and get to class super easily. You simply just provide your Resi card, which will be provided by DIS. They also give the option of providing a bike rental. So DIS will cover your transportation costs. While you're in class, Danish professors like to take a coffee break, which is super fun, where about 45 minutes to an hour into your class, you'll likely go to a local cafe with your whole class and your professor and just have a little break with a quick refresher. An integral part of the Danish culture is the hygge lifestyle, the like HYGGE word. And so typically they enjoy just sitting together and enjoying the environment together, and a coffee break during classes is one of the ways people will do that. So there's not usually too much daily coursework or homework, as I mentioned before. So you can spend the rest of the day exploring Copenhagen, going to the parks, going to museums, going to soccer matches, doing whatever you want to do. I also like to plug that like a gym is normally a part of all the accommodations, and DIS will provide that for you. So that's a great way to keep up with your lifestyle while you're abroad. And then have a fun little dinner with either your housemates, apartment mates, or host family. So a lot of fun to have on the daily. As I mentioned at the very beginning, that there are several different options to study abroad in Denmark. We have 9 different programs, and 6 of them are located in Copenhagen. So where you decide to apply may depend on your major, what kind of atmosphere you're seeking, if you want to do an internship or fieldwork, and other factors. So University of Copenhagen is an exchange program, and so is University of Aarhus. Aarhus is not located in Copenhagen. It is a smaller town further out in Denmark, which may be something you're seeking if you don't want to be in a big city. These exchange programs mean that you'll be placed at the university as an international exchange student. So you will be in classes with Danish students or other students from different international backgrounds just at their official university, whereas DIS is a partner school. Additionally, we also have the Copenhagen Business School program, which if you're involved in the business school would be a great option to look at. So our study abroad programs fall within 3 broad categories that structure your experience. They're UW signature, provider, and exchange programs. The program structure can affect many different aspects of your experience, including your academics. For example, on our exchange or direct enroll programs, you will be only with UW or US students in a classroom at a local university with students from your host country being taught by a professor from that institution. DIS is an example of a provider program, which means it is offered through study abroad organizations UW-Madison is partnered with. They will have their own set of advisors, information sessions, and student support. On contrast, the University of Copenhagen, University of Aarhus, and Copenhagen Business School programs are exchange programs. So as I mentioned, these programs, you're partnered with another university where students enroll as an exchange student or an international student at a university. The host institution will then provide pre-departure information and information for classes, housing, and administration abroad, whereas with a partner program like DIS, those would be provided through DIS. So as you're probably thinking, one of the main questions you hear during these information sessions is how much does it cost to study abroad? So our programs vary in cost depending on a number of factors, including duration, location, organized excursions, whether housing or group meals are provided, and your residency status. While some programs do cost more than studying on campus, many programs cost the same or even less. You'll want to visit each individual program page that you're interested in to determine the cost of each program we offer. For example, the DIS updated cost list sheet for the summer of 2024 lists $26,750 as the expected cost for Wisconsin residents for a semester. In comparison, University of Copenhagen lists $7,000 as the expected cost for Wisconsin residents. So this fee will, of course, vary by accommodations and program types that you tend to go with. DIS is significantly more expensive than University of Copenhagen, but it does include housing, meals, a meal stipend, and transportation, where University of Copenhagen is only the education. Financial aid can often be used to pay for the program fee in the same way that it can be used for tuition. For this reason, we strongly recommend that you apply for federal financial aid by completing a FAFSA application, even if you were denied federal aid in the past. In addition to financial aid, there are a wide range of merit and need-based scholarships to students studying abroad, which are listed within the Campus Scholarship Hub as well as on each program page. As I mentioned, the Scan Design Scholarship is huge for programs in Scandinavia, and they were able to provide funding for my entire study abroad to the University of Copenhagen. So definitely look into these scholarship opportunities. We have a number of resources available to help you financially plan for our program. First, our budget worksheet will help you identify your anticipated expenses so you can start creating a more complete picture of how much the program may cost you. We also offer free passport photos for all UW-Madison students, faculty, and staff to help reduce costs associated with applying for passports and/or visas, depending if you go for the semester or the summer. In addition, our pre-departure loan program helps students pay for their program acceptance deposit and flight booking costs if you do not already have access to funds. This is an interest-free loan that will be billed to your student financial account through the bursar's office at the same time that your program fee is due. Lastly, we offer financial aid drop-in advising and funding info sessions to answer specific questions about funding your program abroad. So some things to consider and tricks and tips when going abroad to Copenhagen. These are especially helpful if it is your first time overseas or in Europe. So first, you will only need a visa on this program if you're staying longer for 90 days. So if you're staying for a semester or a year, you need a visa. But if you're going for the summer, none of the programs expand over 90 days. Once you find out that you're accepted to a semester-long program or year-long program, it is imperative to start the visa application process as soon as possible because wait times can be super, super high. Another small little tip is that charging ports in Europe are different than the US, but they can easily be found and sold on Amazon. In Copenhagen, the cold weather is a lot milder than in Wisconsin, but it is so much rainier. It rains all the time, so make sure to bring a good rain jacket and umbrella with you. Travel in and out of Copenhagen is fairly simple. As I mentioned, the metro is very straightforward and can take you pretty much anywhere in the city, including the airports. Additionally, there's a huge biking culture in Denmark, so make sure to bring a helmet, stay to the right, and let serious bikers pass you, and you should have no problems at all. There are also several large airports that travel to countries all around the world, often for less money than it would in the US. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, this one is the trickiest one, but make sure you bring only what you need and try not to overpack. You could get most things you need outside your door in Copenhagen. So don't stuff your suitcases full of toiletries or heavy items because you'll be able to get it right when you get there. And there's not a huge amount of storage for luggage in dorm rooms and or apartments. So be efficient with what you bring. And also Wi-Fi is freely accessible in most public spaces in Copenhagen, even including places like McDonald's have free Wi-Fi. So don't worry about finding service too much. Okay, now that we've kind of gone through all of the different parts of studying abroad, here are some next steps that you can take on action now. Step number one is talk to your academic, professional, or personal goals, and this will help you focus which your programs are to prioritize the aspects that are most important to you. Number two, chat with a study abroad advisor to help you determine which programs may best meet your goals. All students can meet with a study abroad advisor virtually, and although anyone can meet with an advisor from IAP, we recommend that students within business, engineering, and CALS start their study abroad planning at their own advising locations to make sure you get the information you need for those specific programs. Remember to also talk with your academic advisor to discuss how study abroad will fit within your overall academic plan, since this is unique for pretty much every major and every student. Talk with your family and refer them to the parents and family page on our website. Build your budget and explore our funding and scholarship resources, and remember to attend any of our funding study abroad sessions or financial aid drop-in advisings. Reach out to past participants using our Return Student Network found in the Student Voices section on our homepage. Return students can provide excellent information about the specific programs that you're considering. Remember to apply for or update your passport. You only need the visa if you're going for the semester, but everyone needs a passport. So this is especially important to do right when you know you're going because these wait times can be super, super long. And once you've decided on a program, start applying. Most students are surprised by how early our application deadlines are, so keep it in mind and start applying when you know you want which program you want. Okay, I just spit a lot of information at you guys, and this is all of the information I have for you, but I'll open it up to you guys if you have any questions about DIS, study abroad in Copenhagen, or study abroad in general, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So yeah, the floor is yours. When is the application open and deadline? I believe for the summer, the deadline is in March. The fall, the deadline is in May, and I'm not sure when the spring deadline is, but I would say it's in October. So it's typically about 4 to 5 months before for DIS. For other programs, it can be up to 6 months before, so it's definitely program specific. But for DIS, it's typically only like 4 months before. Did you prefer summer term or the semester long term? This is a super tricky question. So I really enjoyed my time over the summer, but that was such a different experience than I had when I went to University of Copenhagen for the semester long term. I think it really depends on your academic, personal, and professional goals and how it can line up in your academic plan. I would say that if I didn't have the opportunity to go in the fall, the next time I would have perhaps regretted only going in the summer, but I mean, it was still a phenomenal experience and you can do whatever best fits into your academic plan. If you're part of a scholarship program at UW, can that transfer to study abroad, for example, the Chancellor Scholarship? Yes, so most financial aid and scholarships that you have for tuition at UW can be transferred to study abroad, but for specific scholarships and financial aid packages, it's most important to talk to those advisors because they will have the correct, like most specific answer. Generally, the answer is yes, but it's not guaranteed, so always look into it. How many programs can you apply to? So per program session, so for the summer, fall, spring year, you can only apply to one program at a time. You once you apply to that program, if it's a competitive program and you don't get in, they'll help you reapply to another program, but you can only submit one application at a time. So it's really important you make the decision of where you want to go before you start applying. Um, this will also be recorded. So if you need the recording, that is an opportunity. If you apply to Copenhagen Business School, can you apply to more than one core class? So Copenhagen Business School doesn't have the core class system. That's a completely different institution. And I believe they have more of a system and structure as we do here at UW, where you can you take 3 or 4 courses depending with that amount of credits. The core class system is unique to DIS, where you'll have one core class and then 2 to 3 electives. If like 3 more minutes in case any more questions come in. Okay, it looks like there's not too many more questions coming in. So thank you so much for joining me today and learning more. Oh, sorry, one more question. How expensive is housing in Copenhagen compared to UW, especially the apartment, and do you have to share the apartment? So in Copenhagen, most of the time, you do not share the apartments. Normally, they are individual rooms and bathrooms, and if anything, you'll share the kitchen. But that's also not super common. Most of the time, you'll have everything to yourself in the apartment structure. The dorm structure at DIS or the residency hall structure at DIS is modeled after the American dorm system. So that would be very similar to UW housing, except it will be mostly like your own room and bathroom with a shared common area, just like in halls, the way that UW has it located. The local host with DIS is the cheapest option. Apartments in Copenhagen are expensive. Copenhagen is a very expensive city, but DIS will help you subsidize it, and also they give a stipend for meals if you choose the apartment option, whereas in the residency hall and local host, they don't give you those stipends. But that's also because your local host would be feeding you, and the residency halls are a cheaper option than the apartment. So housing in Copenhagen, is specifically the apartment style, is going to be more expensive than your typical UW housing. However, there are different options to get around that fee. All right, we'll wrap it up here. But thank you all guys all so much for coming in and listening. If you need any more resources, please check out the studyabroad.wis.edu website, explore the return student networks, and make an appointment with an advisor if you have any other questions. And I wish you guys the best of luck in your study abroad journeys.